Over the last 24 hours, Rockstar's nightmare scenario is looking like it is becoming a reality as the story surrounding the GTA 6 leaks continues to unfold. Because after almost a full day of radio silence, the GTA 6 leaker known as Cyberleek suddenly returned this morning with brand new GTA 6 footage, but at almost the exact same time, the public learned why things had gone so quiet from Rockstar's end, and that's because the makers behind GTA 6 had been pursuing legal action behind the scenes against both Microsoft and Discord to compel them to turn over identifiable information surrounding the person responsible for these leaks. And look, I don't think I need to tell you this, but this is a massive escalation in the story, because this makes the idea that the leaks are some kind of secret Rockstar guerrilla marketing stunt just impossible to believe. And over the last couple of days, Take-Two's stock price has already taken a hit during the chaos, although the entire market seems to have rebounded a little bit today. And amongst all of this, the reality is that if somebody really does have access to a playable build of GTA 6 right now, the most damaging leaks might not have even happened yet. So let's jump right in, folks. Take-Two subpoenas trove of records from Microsoft and Discord as it hunts for GTA 6 leaker. The hunt is on to find out who's behind an unprecedented spree of GTA 6 leaks. Take-Two, the parent company of Grand Theft Auto's Rockstar Games, has filed multiple subpoenas in federal district court seeking information related to the recent spread of GTA 6 gameplay videos. The company has petitioned both Microsoft and Discord for the release of any records related to various online accounts involved in posting and sharing leaks of the game ahead of its November launch. That includes user data as well as data about any associated OneDrive or linked Xbox accounts. Quote, the copyrighted material includes but is not limited to audio-visual content, artwork, images, dialogue, or other creative elements, end quote, reads a petition for a subpoena filed with the Southern District Court of New York on August 20th. It continues, Take-Two, through its Council of Record, has submitted a sworn declaration confirming that the purpose for which the DMCA subpoena is sought is to obtain the identity of an alleged infringer or infringers, and that such information will only be used for the purpose of protecting Take-Two's rights. The one petition, which references a GitHub repository where infringing content was posted, gives Microsoft until September 4th to produce, quote, all internal Microsoft business records and investigative reports associated with Microsoft's internal investigation of the Cyberleek persona sufficient to identify the user or users and or entities associated with that persona. So they're asking for account ID, registration email, registration and last login IP addresses, phone number, linked connections, aka Google, Xbox, etc., and associated device identifiers, and content related to Grand Theft Auto, Rockstar, or Cyberleek from their OneDrive account. Okay, so sorry to interrupt, but I predicted that my last video would get dislike bombed by the GTA 6 White Knights, and I was correct about that. That video has gotten hundreds of dislikes from the GTA fanboys who are white knighting for their favorite mega corporation, which is just clown behavior. So if you guys want to help me fight off these delusional fanboys, please consider leaving a like down below. Again, this is a massive escalation in this situation, folks, at a time where things looked like they may have been quieting down. And the reason that I say that is because on the day that this was actually filed, the online persona known as Cyberleek actually went quiet for about 24 hours, and it didn't take very long before Twitter started blowing up with rumors and hoaxes of people saying that the leaker was caught and they were identified and they were captured and they were arrested or they got scared or whatever the case might be. But we started to see this narrative spread quickly across Twitter at around the 12-hour mark. That's really all it took, 12 hours of silence, and Twitter was convinced that the guy who was leaking the GTA 6 information had been captured, caught, or fled, or whatever the case might be. And then this morning on August 21st, Cyberleek returned out of nowhere with brand new gameplay footage, apparently titled Hypercar Part One. Now, as I said in my last video, I will not be sharing any GTA footage in this video at all for a variety of reasons. First of all, it's illegal to share this leaked footage, of course, and two, footage of M-rated gameplay on YouTube oftentimes finds itself shadow restricted, meaning that YouTube will not show my video to users with restricted mode turned on. So that's why you're probably looking at racing game footage and wondering, what does this have to do with Grand Theft Auto? It's just just that I can't really use GTA footage in this video. Other YouTubers might be taking that risk. I personally am not, so I'm sorry if that is disappointing to you, but the timing of this development is interesting, right? So first of all, the 24 hours of silence from Cyberleek was probably pre-planned, and by that I mean, as you guys know, alongside these leaks, Cyberleek launched a token on the Solana blockchain. I think it's Solana, and according to online users, Cyberleek has accrued like $50,000 in transaction fees for this token, and so the longer that these leaks drag on, the more this token gets promoted and the more it gets traded and the more money they actually make from this. So I'm going to take this moment to tell you guys, you should absolutely not be supporting any sort of currency that is related to this whole situation. It's a stupid idea, it's a cash grab, and you're going to lose all your money probably, so just don't do it, okay? But yeah, there is a financial incentive to sort of drip feed these leaks, and I think the more that Cyberleek is active online, the more he jeopardizes his or her identity or their identity, right? And so there's no point in posting every couple of hours just to taunt Rockstar. Like, the point is get people talking, and every day they're going to release potentially new information, I guess. And so they didn't go silent because they were scared or because they were caught. They went silent because that's part of their strategy to milk this whole situation for as much money as possible, okay? And on top of that, we have the silence of Rockstar, which has been deafening. Everyone has kind of pointed out that they are just pretending that this is not happening. They are not tweeting about it. They are not talking about it. They are not doing anything. They haven't addressed this whatsoever to the public over on Twitter or their website or anything like that. And that's because behind the scenes, their legal team has been panicking. And that's because this is the nightmare situation for GTA 6 and Rockstar, because as of the most recent leaks, it looks like Cyberleek, at least at one point, had access to a playable build of GTA 6. Now, this is speculation. We don't know this for sure, but what we did see at the end of not the most recent leak, but the one before that, I believe, Cyberleek revealed footage of them writing the word leak on the wall in bullets, okay? And so clearly this was not pre-recorded dev footage. Whoever is responsible here went out of their way to write basically their name on the wall, okay? So at least at some point, maybe not right now, but at least at some point, Cyberleek probably had access to, or someone they know had access to, a actual build of GTA 6. Now, it's possible, and I've seen other outlets report this, but it's possible that they could have planned this leak months in advance. So perhaps in 2025, for example, they knew that they were going to take the Cyberleek alias, and so they recorded a set number of clips that they were planning on leaking, okay? And in one of those clips, they wrote the word leak, and now here we are, perhaps, I don't know, a year or, 14, 16 months later, and they're planning on releasing these clips, and it looks convincing as if they currently have an access to a recent build of the game, when in fact, perhaps they had access months ago, and they no longer do. Who actually knows? This is all speculation. So either, okay, my point is either they have access to a playable build right now, which is the nightmare scenario, right? That is the worst possible situation, or they had access, or someone they knew had access to the game at some point in the past, and they're releasing this footage now, and it is convincing enough to make people believe that they currently have access to a playable build of GTA 6. In past leaks, they've also released parts of a cutscene, and so it's not like they just have a partial build of the game, although I guess that it's still possible, but it looks like they also have access to cutscenes as well, which means they could theoretically have access to all cutscenes, right? Including cutscenes near the end of the game. And that was another thing that people were speculating yesterday about Cyberleek's silence. They were saying like, look, maybe he got caught, or maybe he's just playing through the game and enjoying the game, and he's going to spoil the ending, right? And that's what I think a lot of people are most worried about, and that's why the subpoenas and legal action taken by Take-Two yesterday are such a massive escalation in this story, because this shows that they are in fact worried about the worst possible situation occurring, and the only thing that they can do is try to get as much information about Cyberleek as possible, right? Now, another theory that I saw floating around the internet yesterday, which I thought was comically bad, was that this is all a marketing stunt from Grand Theft Auto or Rockstar or whatever, right? They're saying, okay, this is a 500 IQ play. Rockstar is 2 steps ahead of everybody else. And in fact, Cyberleek is actually a marketing strategy developed by Rockstar Rockstar to promote GTA 6 a week in advance of the Netflix special to drum up hype. I mean, look at how much discussion this has generated, right? I mean, it's been trending for like 3 days now. Clearly this was their plan all along, and clearly it's working. They're smarter than everybody. They are doing this themselves, right? And that was kind of one of the narratives that I saw floating around the internet yesterday, and that was a horrible assumption, right? And like at first glance, I don't blame people for thinking that, right? Like this has been generating a lot of buzz, a lot of hype. Some people are getting very excited for the game. Other people are saying the game doesn't really look as great as they thought it would, and it's actually kind of dampening their expectations, and they're saying like, I'm not really that interested in the game now. But there's a couple of reasons why that theory was garbage from the beginning. Okay, the first is the token that was launched at the same time, right? I mean, this would be if they released a cryptocurrency alongside this marketing strategy. Regulating bodies in countries around the world would absolutely be raising red flags at this situation, because Take-Two is a publicly traded company on the stock market. Okay, and so I don't know much about the Securities and Exchange Commission, but I'm not certain that you as a company are allowed to issue your own cryptocurrency that is speculated on and traded on by the public under the guise of a marketing campaign, and them basically not even admitting that it's theirs, right? Like Take-Two, if they were legally allowed to release a cryptocurrency, which I don't even know if they are, they would probably have to at least disclose it to the public, right? Like, hey, look, this is our cryptocurrency at the very least. Again, I'm not a legal professional. Nothing in this video is legal advice, but just the existence of the tokens alone was basically the silver bullet that killed the theory that this is all a marketing strategy. It clearly was not. But then on top of that, you had the DMCA takedowns. Okay, so now you're involving the legal department. So the theory is that the legal department is what, they're in on it? They know that it's a marketing thing, and they're still wielding the arm of the law to take down videos, even though it's not really a leak. It didn't make any sense, right? And now that we see actual subpoenas being issued, now the probability that this is a marketing tactic is zero. Just so we're clear, just so we're all on the same page, this is not some, galaxy brain 500 play from Rockstar. They are panicking. This is the nightmare scenario for them. It would have been cool, I'll admit, okay, minus the whole token issuing thing. This would have been a cool marketing strategy had they actually thought of it, but it's not. It is the worst case scenario, and that is the current reality. I know maybe GTA fans were hoping that this was all a marketing thing, and like, it's not true, it's not real, they're not going to spoil anything. And like, to the leakers' credit, they haven't spoiled the story yet. Okay, so there's that. But yeah, the issuing of subpoenas is like, yesterday there was a 98% chance that this was not some sort of marketing strategy. Now it's 100. There's 100% chance that this is not part of the actual marketing department over at Rockstar. Okay, they wish it were, but it's not. This whole thing is a disaster for them, and they definitely wish that this did not happen. Otherwise, they would not be issuing subpoenas here. And look, this is serious stuff that they're looking for, right? They're asking for IP addresses, account details, device data, linked accounts, and other identifying records. And it's no wonder they're taking this so seriously, because at the sort of height of these leaks, during the most frenzy panic period, the stock had fallen about, I think, like 3% or something like that, which, I mean, that's not crazy, right? I mean, like, look, the numbers floating around were that, Take-Two lost $1 billion in market cap, or $2 billion in market cap, or whatever. And like, look, that number is used just to sort of drum up, panic, and drum up like, oh my God, this is crazy, the company's collapsing, right? And like, look, let's be real, a 2 or 3% drop isn't that crazy. Obviously, it was probably partially related to the leaks. I mean, what are we talking about? Obviously, right? GTA is a big money maker for them. It's the reason their stock price is as high as it is today anyway. But as you can see in the last day, the stock has basically rebounded up 2%. So pretty much all of the sort of losses were wiped away this morning and regained as the market saw an uptrend this morning. This is Friday, okay? And it's not just Take-Two. The whole market looks a bit green today as well. The whole market is moving up, not just Take-Two, okay? But even still, let's assume that the macro environment didn't decide to bounce today in unison. It could have just as easily been the case that the stock continued to go down. Now, thankfully for them it didn't, but this is why Take-Two and Rockstar have to take this as seriously as possible, because they have a fiduciary responsibility to their shareholders to do what is in the best interest of those shareholders, right? And so anything that makes the stock go down even by 2%, even if it's only partially related to the leaks, it's their responsibility to take decisive and quick action against that. And that's also another reason why the idea that this is a marketing ploy was really garbage to begin with, because it's like, okay, if your marketing tactic wiped away, you know, $1 billion of your market cap, like, you're in trouble. You better reveal it's a marketing strategy so that way it bounces back. Now, another part of this story that actually quietly happened and not that many people talked about it, I saw like maybe one tweet about this, but Rockstar did actually kind of respond in a way at the peak of the leaks occurring online, and this was on August 20th. Rockstar has stayed silent on the leak, instead running paid ads for the August 27th Netflix reveal and issuing copyright takedowns. Rockstar has responded to the Grand Theft Auto 6 leak, sort of, and it's doing it by opening its wallet and buying ads for the upcoming Netflix premiere. Over the last few days, paid promotions for Grand Theft Auto 6 and Extended Look, the official reveal premiering on Netflix on August 27th, have started turning up across multiple social media platforms. Rockstar never really needed to confirm the event was still happening, since everyone from their grandma to the US government knew what was coming anyway, and even if pre-planned way before the leaks happened, canceling the ad rollout would be rudimentary. Instead, the developers let them roll out and basically telling Grand Theft Auto fans that everything is under control and the show is proceeding exactly as planned. So basically what happened here, if you guys don't know, Facebook and Meta as well as Google have what's called a transparency center, and you can access this yourself. You can go on these dashboards and actually look at what ads are currently running across social media on Instagram, Facebook, Google obviously shows like YouTube ads and Google AdSense, and you can look at what these companies are currently promoting. And what people noticed is that one of the newest ads that was just flipped on as of August 20th was a new ad promoting the upcoming Netflix Extended Look. So basically, while everyone is like sort of panicking and like, oh my god, Rockstar, are they going to make a statement? Are they going to say anything? Right? They didn't, but what they did do is start spending money on ads promoting this upcoming Netflix Extended Look, right? And I wouldn't be surprised if Netflix got on the phone and was like, hey bro, your damn game leaked. We had an agreement, right? Because remember, I covered this in the last video and I couldn't believe how many people in the comments have absolutely no understanding of basic business, right? But there is a financial agreement between GTA and Rockstar and Take-Two and Netflix, right? I mean, there's a reason why this is exclusive to Netflix for 6 hours. Netflix certainly exchanged something of value with Take-Two or Rockstar, and most likely it was money. Okay, most likely they paid to have the exclusive rights to this Extended Look for 6 hours. And why would they do that? Because they want people to sign up for Netflix. I couldn't believe in my last video the number of comments saying, oh, no one's signing up for Netflix just to watch the ad. It's like, you think they spent potentially millions of dollars on this timed exclusive and you don't think they're going to get any money out of it? You don't think they have a financial target they're looking for? I mean, tell me you don't know basic business without telling me you don't know basic business. Money like this does not exchange hands if they don't think that they are going to see an ROI on that. You understand? Oh, all my friends have Netflix. No one's going to pay for it. Just for guys. Come on, okay? Someone out there is dumb enough to buy Netflix for this Extended Look, okay? Little Timmy is gonna renew his subscription and he's gonna forget to cancel it, and he's gonna have Netflix for 3 months as a result of this Extended Look. It sounds absurd because you wouldn't do it and your friends might not do it, but it is absolutely happening. Netflix, let me make it clear for you guys, because apparently this is a very complicated concept for the GTA fanboys, okay? Netflix will make money off of people subscribing to their service as a result of this Extended Look. That's definitely what's happening. They wouldn't have spent money on it otherwise. There's objectively no other way to look at it, okay? So what could have happened is Netflix is looking at the game leaking and they're like, okay, well now what did we pay for, Rockstar? They're banging on their door like, hey guys, okay, your security is fucked and now we paid all this money and you're now what did we pay for, right? They're probably furious, in fact. And so Rockstar's like, look, okay, what we'll do is, obviously they're already doing everything they can to stop the leaks, but on top of that, they're probably like, look, we will sweeten the deal and we'll take some of the money that you gave us and we'll spend it on ads to at least promote this for you, so that way maybe more people know that it exists and they'll, you know, renew their Netflix subscription or whatever the case is. That's probably what happened, although of course that is speculation for me. And also the timing is just like, sure, it could be a coincidence. As this article says, it very well could have been a planned thing, right? Like literally we're 7 days out, right? So okay, at the exact 1 week mark, that's when the marketing could have flipped on, right? Which it makes sense logically. Okay, so again, it could be coincidence, maybe it is, maybe it's not. Maybe the amount of money behind those ads is now increasing as a result of the leaks, maybe it's not. Again, this is speculation, but the timing is certainly a bit interesting, considering Rockstar and Take Two have been radio silent about these leaks. And then of course, not only that, their legal team is probably working overtime to do everything they can to, you know, again, issue these subpoenas, do the DMCA takedowns and all that sort of stuff. But let's return to the article we were reading before. They go on to say Discord has the same deadline to provide a trove of records related to, quote, all user accounts that are/were members communicating with the Discord servers that involve Cyberleek, Cinematic Rockstar, and Surfer 24K, plus replacement handles Cyberleek West, Sir West, as well as Odyssey.gg, Odyssey Public Brand Guild, and Dark Viper AU Editors server. And that last one is for the popular GTA 5 Twitch and YouTube streamer Matt Judge, who actually did issue a statement this morning over on Twitter saying Take-Two has filed multiple subpoenas seeking information to catch the GTA 6 leaker. They're asking for my Discord info. I'm mentioned by name. 1, I don't know anything. 2, that isn't my editor's Discord. And 3, there aren't even any clips of the leaks in either of my Discords. I am confused. I did say he can't drive multiple times, so maybe I caused him to write Cyberleek can't drive on the most recent clips. Maybe he visited my Discord. I don't know. Rockstar hasn't emailed me. I suspect if they thought I knew something personally, they would do so. Everyone is talking about these leaks. I am not special, hopefully. And so basically he's just coming out and saying like, look, I don't know why they targeted my Discord, or I guess according to them, this isn't even the editor's Discord. So he's saying like, look, my name is on this Discord and they're mentioned by name. And he's like, I don't even know why, or like, look, I don't know anything. Basically, that's what he's saying here. Anyway, the article goes on to say the identity of the person or group responsible for spreading multiple gameplay clips revealing new features and never before seen parts of GTA 6's world and mechanics has yet to be uncovered, and Rockstar Games hasn't yet commented on the situation. The clips have been posted under the alias Cyberleek, circulated from a site with a manifesto which has called on game companies to stop practices like digital pre-orders and the locking of finished content behind paywalls or as, quote, fake DLC. But the individual or group has also seemingly been using the unprecedented leaks to get people online to buy into their crypto coin. We talked about that earlier. Now, on top of all of that, we have another very confusing situation developing on the Xbox side of things, because yesterday there were reports of an Xbox version, or I guess build, of GTA 6 being leaked, which was quickly identified as being fake, right? Everyone, you know, it kind of blew up. Oh my God, there's a second leak. There's another leaker. This time it's not a PC build, but it's an Xbox build. And then that quickly became fake news, right? Everyone's like, okay, that's actually not real. However, today it looks like there is actually a real Xbox leak. It's not exactly what was circulated yesterday, but this was mentioned today. New Rockstar has suffered a confirmed leak. Okay, confirmed leak. This is no longer a fake hoax relating to an Xbox graphics capture file, which is essentially a dump of information from the console's GPU/CPU. This is not a game build, but it does contain map height, map data, and models. The file is currently being gated from the public, but members of the community have already extracted height maps from the game, as well as a texture for the UI minimap. This was tweeted earlier this morning. This one coming from Pirate Nation. Rockstar suffered a confirmed leak involving an Xbox graphic capture file. The leak is believed to be connected to a phishing attack targeting a Rockstar employee. It is not a game build, but the capture contains contains a significant amount of game data, including 3D models, textures, and map related information. Members of the community have already extracted height maps and a UI minimap texture, while additional map assets have also appeared online. So yeah, things are continuing to get worse for Take-Two Interactive and Rockstar. Right now, this is kind of a cat and mouse game, and it is also a race to see if they can catch Cyberleek before they potentially have the ability to release story spoilers or anything like that. Again, assuming they actually have a playable build. I think they probably do, but I don't think it is a complete build of the game. I also don't think it is an up-to-date version of the game, obviously. I also think, like I said earlier in the video, it's very likely that they knew someone who had access at some point in the past, and this was pre-planned months in advance as a way to make a bunch of money off of their token that they've issued, right? So yeah, as far as Rockstar is concerned, though, they are probably operating under the worst case scenario, where they're going to try to get this person and identify them and arrest them before actual bad leaks happen, right? Because right now you could make the argument that like not much has really leaked. Frankly, it's a combined total of what, like less than 10 minutes of gameplay, and it's from a build that's probably at least a year and a half old or something like that. So arguably not much has leaked. If anything, these leaks have drummed up hype for the game, because Cyberleek has released more information about the dang game than Rockstar themselves, which is one of the reasons why I think some people are actually happy about this, not only because it hurts the mega corporations, right? And we on this channel are not cattle like I've seen over on Twitter, just absolutely taking Rockstar to the back of the throat, okay? But anyway, they're also excited because they get to just see footage of the game they've waited 13 years for, really. And that's another thing. And you know, again, there hasn't been any spoilers, really, just a little bit of like mechanics and things, minor things that, you know, I'm sure that Rockstar would have rather controlled the rollout of that. But at the end of the day, if anything's gonna leak, you know, if it's, you know, some poorly compressed, you know, 8 minutes of gameplay, you know, it's fine. Is anyone gonna not buy the game because of this? Maybe, right? Maybe. I think what this really has done is reset people's expectations for the game. That's the biggest thing. People are realizing that, like, look, you know, as exciting as this game is, as good as it probably will be, it is not anything, you know, it's not going to be the generational leap people think. It's going to be a new GTA game, right? And it may have tons of content, and maybe it'll have a great story, and you know, maybe the online version, whenever that does come, will be phenomenal, but it's not going to be, you know, a life-changing necessarily experience for a lot of people, like they've made up in their mind, right? They've decided that this is going to change their life. It's not. It's a Grand Theft Auto game, right? And at the end of the day, that resetting of expectations perhaps maybe will make some people reconsider buying the game. I personally am not that excited for the game anymore, to be honest with you guys. It just, I don't know, it just reminded me that like I didn't even beat GTA 5, right? So like, what am I even getting excited about? It's not a big deal. And really, I think a lot of people know that hype for a game oftentimes, and the build up to the launch is some of the best times of a game, ironically, is before it's even out, right? We see this all the time, and that's why the hype cycle is so crucial and critical and important, and having them lose control over that so close to its launch is definitely unfortunate for them. So clearly they're going to try to take this guy down before he actually, or they actually, release story spoilers, because at least right now they could say that he hasn't really revealed anything crazy. On the other side of the coin, though, I know a lot of people are saying like, look, this guy's cooked, he's gonna get found, he's gonna get destroyed, whatever the case is. And like, I think the probability is high, but it's not guaranteed. I see a lot of people saying like, oh, when he's caught, he's done. It's like, if he's caught, you mean if he's caught. And again, I think we look at Rockstar and Take Two, and we're like, this is a super powerful corporation, and it's like, okay, but if this guy's in Russia, like he's getting away with it. I'm sorry to say, they're not gonna turn him over to the United States, you know what I mean? Like, it's not gonna happen. He could be in Pakistan in a basement in Karachi, and he's not getting caught, bro, right? Like, as powerful as this company is, like, there are limits to what can happen. And I know that there's Interpol and, you know, like the FBI and CIA, and like, sure, could these institutions get involved? Of course, right? Of course, especially if Cyberleek is in the United States. But like, let's not pretend like it would be impossible for them to get away with this, okay? There are absolutely locations on the planet where if they reside, they will not be caught. They will not be brought to justice. They will just get away with it, right? And like, look, again, I think if they are in a place with good internet, there's a good chance that eventually they get caught. But, you know, them getting caught before the Netflix reveal, I think that might be surprising, unless they're actually already in the United States, in which case they're an idiot, okay? They're actually just stupid. This person better be overseas if they know it's good for them. If not, they're just a fool and they deserve to be caught, really. And like, also, ultimately, I do think they deserve to be caught at the end of the day. As much as I don't like Take-Two and Rockstar and all of the most absurdly greedy things they've done surrounding this game, with the price point, with the day one cut content that they've repackaged in a $20 upcharge for the special edition, right? The digital only nature of this, the fact that the extended look for the game is behind a time gated paywall is ridiculous. The fact that the gamers haven't even seen actual gameplay from Rockstar, right? All we have is this leak gameplay footage, right? And so Rockstar has made, you know, tons of people commit their money to a game that they haven't even seen yet, right? Which I think is kind of scummy, right? I mean, if people are gonna, you know, put down money for a pre-order, then like at least show them what they're gonna get, right? Like we haven't actually seen gameplay footage, which is crazy considering how close we are to the launch of the game. But guys, if you made it to the end of this video, please drop a thumbs up on it. It really does help out the small channel a ton. And while you're down there, consider subscribing to the channel, because you might have seen a bunch of my videos and you think you're subscribed, but you're actually not. Double check down below.